are live. We are live, fellas. What's going on, man? What's going on? It's another good night to be here with my guys, man. True Sons brought to you again by TPL, and we are excited about tonight. Excited to kind of talk about Mizzou football again in the midst of some fellow Mizzou fans. Hopefully, it's people who've been tuned in with us for a little bit, man. So let's get right into it, man. We got a big win. I don't really want to call it a big win. We got a win by a large margin, I'll say, over UMass, man. So let me get your initial thoughts. Spoon, man. Start with your initial thoughts on the win.
I mean, going back to the last episode, I think I stated that this was one of those games where these people shouldn't be on the field with us. And
Mhm.
I mean, no disrespect to UMass, but the Tigers went out and did everything they were supposed to do. Don't
Mhm.
know how we scheduled that game up in their place, but hey, we went up there and just showed them a little bit about the Midwest and how we get down and represented the SEC well. So proud of the victory.
Mhm.
Just hope that when we go back to conference play, we can bring that same energy.
Matt, what about you? What do you?
Man, a
You
win
know,
is
we
a
had
win
a
is a win is a win, man.
yeah.
That's
Here we go.
we take them out, we can get them. Man. I think easily, man. You just kind of wanted to get that taste out your mouth, from the previous week. But to get the win, man, we did exactly what we're supposed to do. In those games, you would like to come out healthy, right? So
Hmm.
we'll see kind of what happens with LB3 and
Yeah.
uh, any other guys that got banged up. But I thought the offense looked sharp. Still, still not connecting down the field.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
whatever reason, man. But I thought the offense looked sharp. I thought we had some explosive plays. I think we had 260 plus yard TDs for the first time in a couple years, about 4 or 5 years. So it was
7 years.
good. And the guy I talked about before week one, Josh Manning, had him a nice little catch and run, and I like to see him get used a little bit more as well. But I thought we did exactly what we were supposed to do.
I would say we did too. Pleasantly surprised. Y'all know I was close to smashing that panic button. I'm telling you right now, if this game would have been close, I'm finding panic buttons everywhere and I'm smashing them. But we took care of business. Like both of you all said, like we should have taken care of business. This team that showed up Saturday, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you, J Mac, was not the same team that showed up in College Station.
Yeah,
Granted, this isn't College Station talent, still, like
yeah,
even after a tough loss to a ranked opponent, it's easy to come out the next game and not really have it. To kind of still have that stench on you. And I'm glad to see we bounced back. Like I told you guys last week, my senior year at Mizzou, we took a tough loss to Nebraska after handling OU, and we went down to Texas Tech, who was not ranked. We were picked to beat them by I think by like 17, and we threw up a dud, lost to Texas Tech, and they stormed the field on us. You know what I mean? So I will commend the Tigers on bouncing back at UMass. So Spoon, what did you see that you liked from the defense? And then J Mac, what did you see you liked from the offense?
Well, first and foremost, if you thought I watched that game, Kevin, you must be crazy. I would love to watch Missouri every
Hmm.
weekend, but that was just one of those games where I was like, man, daddy duty
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
takes over, man. Man, my son actually took a line drive to the face a couple weekends ago, and surgery was kind of pushed back, and so
Okay.
they had to set his nose. So we had quite. And I see Jeremy's face; he didn't really know. I talked to Kevin about it, but yeah, man, baby Sean was pitching. He doesn't pitch, of course; it's a pitcher
Yeah.
machine. He took one right to the face, man. I thought our baseball career was over, but the kid, he persevered. It was a tough Sunday a couple weeks ago. We had the first CT scan at the new Arthur Blank Children's Hospital here in Atlanta. So how ironic that was, me being a first round pick for Arthur Blank some years ago, and now my
Hmm.
son getting the first CT scan in the new hospital on North Druid Hills, which is the street that we live on. I mean, things were just kind of a bit weird in the Weatherspoon
Yeah.
household. So we were running around, but I knew that Missouri would be balling. My daughter, she had a gymnastic meet on Saturday,
Hmm.
so she placed second overall, so she took precedence, and we were
Shout
there
out, man.
supporting Ava. And
Yeah.
but I was tuned in, man. I was trying to watch the game, and everybody was talking about the Alabama, South Carolina game, because the Missouri game was kind of, it's one of those games
It's
where
blowout.
everybody's like, Missouri should be back on pace. And Jeremy, you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned the stat that was quite it was something that came to my attention, and kind of I was like, wow, we haven't had two 60-yard touchdown passes or touchdown plays since
Yeah,
2017.
that was crazy.
So we've been talking about these big plays and how they've seemed to, slide past Missouri, but everybody else seems to connect down the field. But we haven't been able to. But we found a way to go out and we kicked butt, man. The Tigers did exactly what they should have against the Minutemen, and we're super proud of them. And I thought it was exactly, what the doctor ordered. So looking forward to next week and seeing how we compete. And we will be in the building in Columbia. So man, I'm super excited. We got some good things in the bag for all the fans, and can't wait to get down there for homecoming. So there it is.
Yes, indeed. J Mac, what you think about what you
Uh,
saw, man?
no, I liked it, man. I thought we got back to running the football a
Yes,
little
we
bit,
did.
which is what some I kind of said last week. Um, and like I said, it wasn't necessarily the down the field stuff, but we were able to, you got Luther on the jet sweep. We were able to, kind of go a little naked, a little boot, get Manning coming behind the line of scrimmage into the flat for a touchdown. Seems like a play that normally Luther gets, but because he was out, right, that goes to Manning now, so he
Yep.
houses that. But I thought we looked really good in the run game. Um, I thought, you put the ball in our playmakers' hands and they made plays. Uh, that being said, man, being a wide receiver, right, being somebody who loves to see the ball in the air, right,
Yeah.
man, just the ability to connect on some of that down the field stuff, man, just opens up your offense so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the deal, like we still got Luther, we still got Theo, like we still got guys that can get downfield and make the
Yep.
plays. Um, for whatever reason, man, they some of those plays are called 50-50 balls for a reason. They just haven't landed our way. But
Yeah.
man, we gotta. I think if we're gonna go in, and I don't want to overlook Auburn, but even the Auburn game, I think we're gonna start having to hit on some of those plays downfield. I think you just got to. And right now, this is something that we're not doing right now.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it possible for us to have sustained success without that aspect in the offensive passing game?
Well,
Well,
let me chime in, Mac. First,
go ahead, go
just from a
ahead.
defensive standpoint, I think you can do it. You can win that way, but your
Yeah.
defense has to play like Missouri's defense played the last 6 games of the season last year. And newsflash, we're a different team. We
Yeah.
got different players. A lot of guys drafted off of that defense that are helping NFL clubs now. And those guys are not going to walk through the door for the Tigers next week. And we have a formidable opponent in Auburn. We picked them for homecoming. So I mean, that's just something that you're in the locker room and you show up for homecoming. Them guys gonna have a little extra juice. But I will say this: if you can run that football the way they ran the football, I mean, for the most part of the season, you're gonna beat a lot of football teams. And
Mm-hmm.
to connect on the downfield plays would be great. But ultimately, you stay ahead of the sticks, and who cares? You just keep moving the ball,
Yeah,
and you get
yeah,
points. You get points at all costs.
yeah. I think you can, Kev. I think you
Mm-hmm.
can. Now, once you start, you know, uh, you just have to be very efficient, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you can't get behind the sticks, right? You can't have penalties setting you back 5, 10, 15 yards,
Mm.
right? You got to stay ahead of the sticks. But you can, and especially with the guys that we have that can create with the ball in their hands and take a 5-yard bubble and turn it into 60. I
Mm-hmm.
think you can. And then obviously, like I said last week, man, you run the football at a successful rate. That's going to keep you in any football game. So, you
Mm-hmm.
can, as a receiver and as a fan. Uh, I just want to see the explosive plays. I do.
I'm gonna say something, and I want both of y'all's take on it. Last year during the season, I'm not sure if I really noticed how special um, Cody Schrader was and what he did. I
Mm.
think when you're watching it, you see the numbers and you're like, "Oh, that's decent, right?" But we don't realize how big that was for our offense last year. I think J-Mac, you may have mentioned it, maybe a couple of shows back that the offense kind of you ran the ball well, which opened up the down the field game.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we're not running the ball well, but Cody had like 1,600 last year.
yeah,
I don't think I think leading right now was Noel. He got like 470. not on pace for 1,600. Is it scheme or was Cody that special?
I think a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Cody, man. Awesome year last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you said, it was Noel, and then you had Curl this past game, had a big
Mm-hmm.
game, right? Um, but I also think we relied on the run a little bit more last year, right? And you know, I think, you know, I think Kirby, may have a different mindset from a standpoint of I got this veteran quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
I trust him, right? Let's move him around. Let's air the ball out a little bit. Let's get the ball to the receivers a little bit, because you do have a bunch of them that are really good, like I said.
Yeah.
Um, but I think a lot of what we do is off of that stretch run game. It's off of that outside zone, wide zone run game. And right now, you know, I don't think we're committed enough to for the rest of everything else to flow as well as it flowed last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, but once again, man, I calling plays, myself, like I get it, man. You get in the course of a
Yeah.
game, and sometimes your whole game plan goes to goes left because you may start different field position, or you may get down early, or you may find something here. Like so, who
Yeah.
knows what the reason is? I just know that like what that run game did for us at this last year.
Hmm.
Okay. So, Spoon, from a defensive standpoint, I know you play backer, and it's a little bit different for us in the secondary, but when you have a team who is committed to running the football, how does that open up the downfield? And what kind of weaknesses is it showing out in the defense when a team is just running the ball, and then you get a couple of pop plays here and there?
Well, when you're running the football, you're setting things up down the field for later in the game just by sticking to it. Even if you're getting, two, three, four here. I mean, it's about the consistency and continuing to stick with it. When you watch,
Mm-hmm.
football today, usually if you don't run the ball well, you'll fall behind in the score very quickly. I don't care which level it is, unless you just, unless you're Colorado, right, where you can just just throw the ball up, let your athletes make plays, and
Yep.
it is what it is, right? They can score a lot of
Mm-hmm.
points, but if you can't run the football, you're gonna fall behind quickly. I watched the Dallas Cowboys the other day, and that was one of the worst football games that I've watched. Like as far as a team not being able to do something that you preach all week, we're gonna. You that last team meeting, the coach started talking to you. We're gonna go out
Mm-hmm.
there. We're gonna run right at such and such. You might be the best player on their team, but you're getting your team psyched up to go out and do what you're capable of. But when you go out there and you
Yeah.
can't do it, it's demoralizing. And for a defense, once you see the linebackers not making plays, the defensive line getting driven off the ball,
Mm-hmm.
it makes the secondary players come down a little bit and get nosy, and it opens up that back end. And so you're seeing that in football. And so with Missouri, the only way we're going to be successful is to run that football. You never know what you got until it's gone. And looking back
Yeah.
at Cody and what he was able to do last year, I think that Tennessee game, he hit them from both sides in that game, passing
Yeah.
or receiving as well as running the football. But when you can just you can bank on the fact that he's going to get 5.5 yards of carry against the Georgia defense on the road, it gives you that confidence as a play caller as well as on defense to know that all we got to do is get a stop because we're able to
Yeah.
control the clock. We're able to go out and be a physical football team, and that's what the SEC is about. So if you can establish that physicality, I think with your run game, it sets you up to make those plays down the field. And right now, we're not seeing that as much as we would like. But when you got guys like Burden, taking a simple handoff for 60 yards, and you
Yeah.
know you're out there. I mean, Carroll ran the ball well. I
He
still
did.
love to see. I'd love to see. I'd love to see Brady Cook be a little bit more involved in the run game because the athletic ability is there. But I do like the fact that he's looking down the field and not giving up on the patterns to give his guys a chance. But
Mm-hmm.
moving forward, we're going to see what it looks like because now the games are going to be a little bit more a little bit tougher moving down the stretch in the
Yeah.
SEC.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
will say this though. I will say this. Like we've had opportunities. There's been guys open for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason. We've just been a little off. So I don't. It's not for me. Like the plays have been there,
Hmm.
right? I just want to see us connect on them, and we just for whatever reason, whether it's not as clear, or whether it's lack of reps or just for whatever reason, we just haven't connected on those plays this year.
It's small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got another hot topic. Last week, Spoon said he is looking to buy or sell stock in Mizzou football on the first drive of the next SEC game, and I actually loved it. I'm not gonna lie, I loved it because I think it kind of it speaks volumes about the season to
Mhm.
date, right? So you can't look at UMass and say, oh yeah, I'm back on.
Mhm.
But J Mac, after hearing that, are you drinking the Kool-Aid again, saying Mizzou is still on the path for ultimate success after seeing what we did against UMass, or do you want to see what we do against the SEC opponent too?
Here's the deal. I don't. For me, like you take out the UMass game, like I'm still like bought in. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna tell you why. Like I told you, I truly believe that A&M game is a one off, right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
And I truly believe if they stick with the DPI on their first drive, right?
Mm.
If Luther's 75-yard touchdown don't get called back, that's a
Mm.
Yep,
different game.
it
So
is.
I like you pressing the panic button. I'm not pressing the panic button.
Mac,
Now,
you know what they
granted,
say about ifs and fifths.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They say if my aunt had, you know what, she'd be my uncle. So you
You
got to
see what
be
I'm
like,
saying?
you know what I mean. So like, you gotta understand. Uh, you gotta understand. Like, well, we all played the game, man. We've all been in
Hmm.
those games. Like I'm going. I know I'm backtracking, but we've all been in those games where like you like, man, what the heck is going? Like,
Hmm.
hey, we can't do nothing right. Like, it don't
Yeah.
matter what we do. Like, we just getting our butts kicked. And I brought up an example like in London, right? And Spoon is not. Jacksonville just got whooped in London,
Bro,
so.
that
They
was
finally
not the
dropped one.
same
They
Jacksonville
finally
team
dropped
in
one.
London.
But man, they beat us so bad when I was in Baltimore, man. I couldn't believe what was going on, you know. So
Hmm.
it's a one off, man. And but I'm with you though. I want to see us get back to Missouri football, right?
Hmm.
Get back to running that stretch that we did so awesome last year, right? Setting off play action off of it, right? Setting up your we call it the swipes behind the line of scrimmage, getting Luther in the flat. You got your bubble, you got your RPO game, right? Getting back to all that, using Brady in the run game, right? I think
Hmm.
you get back to all that, man. I think we're just fine. So, um, I'm gonna say it every week. Like I believe, I truly believe this. I'm not saying it because I'm a homer, right?
Yeah.
Man, once those deep balls start to like, it's going to open up so many more things, man. So I'm still bought in. I stayed bought in. I truly
Yeah.
believe the A&M was a one off. Um, but now it's time to go.
I,
It's time
Yeah.
to go now. It's time to go.
facts, facts, Mac. And I
Yeah,
truly believe that it was a one off too. Because I trust
yeah.
you and I trust Kevin.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
And I watch. I'm watching. I didn't watch
Hmm.
UMass. Wasn't much to
Hmm.
watch, but I'm watching. So this next SEC game is, maybe I might be jumping the gun, Kevin, on that first series. But I want to see something on defense and I want to see
Yep.
something on offense that gets me excited for the next series. You know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for me, that's physicality. That's explosiveness. That's what you're gonna need to to you know to be standing when everybody else is sitting, right? And that's our
Hmm.
goal. Like Missouri, they went out and handled their business last season, man, and won the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State. That
Yeah.
is huge. It's huge, and that's why we're sitting here today and talking about this team in that light. Because
It's
Mac,
true.
some things Mac said last week, he was like, "Yo, we got these players. These are the same guys. Like these." And I think one thing you said, Jeremy, about Manning, and the
Mhm.
boy got a nickname already. I like to call him Manning. Like, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like that. I like that, man, because we need other people to step up and take some of that, take some of that expectation off these other guys. Because everybody know Luther Burden's a top pick. They know he's a
Yeah.
great player. He literally changed the course of Missouri football just by coming to school. He
It's
brought
true.
other people with him. He's
Yeah.
shown that he can do it. These other guys, I thought one of the guys that we lost a couple years ago was Looper. My big brother Tay played at Stephen F. Austin, and Coach
Hmm.
Looper, our running back coach, he coached my brother at Stephen F. Austin, and I got a chance to know, Coach Looper and see his son kind of come up in the ranks and hoping he was going to be a deep threat for Missouri, and that's what he did in high school. And he's had some issues to where he's some health issues, so he's no longer with Missouri. But we've been waiting for people to step up and make
Yeah,
those plays when they're called upon, because you're not going to get the same amount of targets as a Luther Burden, as a Theo Weiss. It's not going to happen for these other guys, but when their numbers call, we need them to step up right away. And I saw Manning go out and put it on display. And I know, Mac, you had
Yeah.
mentioned his name for weeks and weeks, and it was refreshing to see someone else go out there and put it down, and also not having our RB1 this week was something that allowed other people to step up and do their thing. And I think Carroll did a good job. I think obviously Luther spelled and hit a big one too. So it's promising for Missouri, but I mean the schedule is right there. It's coming up, so we're gonna be able to judge it by what we see, and I'm looking forward to it this week.
Mac. Sometimes you say, or you've been on this show and you said that the numbers can be deceiving.
Yeah.
I happen to be a numbers guy.
Hmm.
So looking at Auburn, uh, right now their leading rusher is beating our leading rusher. The leading receiver is also beating our leading receiver, and the quarterbacks in terms of passing yards are what and what. Look at some of the games Auburn lost this year. You lose to Georgia, kind of got handled. Very close loss against Oklahoma, like 6 points.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, you lost to Arkansas by 10. You lost to Cal by 7. That's their 4 losses. I don't think the team is as bad as the record shows.
No, but
I, Go ahead. Go
go ahead.
ahead.
No, I'm saying that also goes to there ain't no weeks off in the SEC. Like there is none.
Mhm.
And this is proof this past week. You look around, right? You got
Mississippi
South
State.
Carolina in Tuscaloosa, right?
The
Should have
dogfight.
potentially pulled that one off, right? You
Hmm.
had you
So close.
had you had Mississippi State going hand in hand with Georgia, right? You
Hmm.
had uh, LSU beating Ole Miss, right? And then prove to y'all, if you don't come and bring your stuff, then you get blown out like Oklahoma did against Texas. So
Mm.
like it is every single week, right?
Okay,
Look at
You
Kevin
gotta
Pace
bring it.
about the
I'll
Oklahoma
take
game.
that, but on paper, Texas is light years ahead of Oklahoma anyway.
I, I
It should have blown them out.
The
I'm
Red
not gonna
River
say
Shootout.
light years. I'm not gonna say light years
I think
because
they beat them
because
by like 17. I'm just saying.
listen, forget Vegas.
Listen.
Forget Vegas. Forget Vegas.
Yeah,
Vegas got to make their money, man.
They do
Forget
their own
Vegas.
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, man. It's tough, dog. Like each and every week is tough. Like it truly reminds me of right the National Football League, right?
Hmm.
It don't matter what's going on. The Cleveland Browns, who people are so down on right now, right? Within
Yeah.
the Philly, and it took AJ Brown to make a spectacular over-the-shoulder catch to pull that game out. A team we were talking about that's going to compete for the Super Bowl. Now, are they
Yeah.
as good as we think they are? I don't know, but it's the National Football League, man. So, and
Hmm.
then you got Detroit going into Dallas and blowing them out by 40. Like, if you don't bring it, right, anybody can get you. And if you lay an egg, you're gonna get rolled,
Mhm.
right? And that's just how it is. So
That's true.
no, Auburn's not as bad as their record said. But here's where the stats are a little deceiving. You're
Talk to me.
behind in games, so what do you have to do? You got to pass the rock.
You got, yep. Hmm.
You got to pass the rock. So I think those numbers are probably a little misleading. But I'm not gonna sit up and act like I've watched a lot of Auburn. I watched a little bit of that Oklahoma game.
Hmm.
So I'm not. I'll go back and do some stuff this week. But um, I mean, it's Auburn. Right? It is what it is. Auburn. Right? Even their down years, you still got to be worried. It's Auburn. Right? You got to.
Unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Spoon, what you think about Auburn? What are you thinking?
Well, when I think about their head coach, I just think of a guy that fights. I saw him coach a game from a gurney one time in the press box. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro,
Yeah.
you could have just took a day off, man. You're
Yeah.
coaching at Liberty. Like
Hmm.
I mean, but
And
he
go
he
home.
went about his business a certain way, and that put him back in the SEC. And
Hmm.
second year at Auburn, it's a place where I thought they maybe should have went with Cadillac Williams. That team responded to Cadillac in the year he was the interim head coach, and I got
Yeah.
a lot of respect for him and Ronnie Brown for what they did for the old Auburn team. That was one of those teams.
Hmm.
I got a lot of respect, just for the SEC period, man. When you're talking about the talent on the rosters, this team is going to come into Missouri with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
They
Looking to ruin homecoming.
they're watching the tape last week, and I'm telling you, they like, man, that's UMass. Like the same way Missouri left the game feeling like we back. The other teams are saying, man, that's UMass. And that could be misleading in the sense that they may think, oh, Missouri just played well against UMass. But they got to remember that this is a Missouri team that returned a lot of people that contributed
Mhm.
to their team last year and a lot of early on success this year. And that team in Missouri is looking for that confidence to get them going because, like Max said, we haven't been hitting these balls down the field. We haven't been playing the way that we know we can play, and so they're
Mhm.
looking to get it back. I call UMass a get back game, but this is another get back game because
Yeah.
it's a game in the conference that could send a message to other people that when you come to Missouri, you better come to play, and when we come to your house, same thing. And I think it should be a better showing for Missouri. And you got to think about Eli's ties to Auburn. He was under Gus Malzahn. You know this.
Mhm.
I mean, don't be surprised when they start throwing a bag at Eli. Like, hey man, come on back. If Hugh Freeze don't get it together, I mean,
Yeah.
they don't. Man, these people in the SEC, they don't mind reaching
Hey,
out,
y'all.
trying to
Mhm.
get guys, back in position to give them success. So it's gonna be a big week.
Yeah.
Another real quick, another thing that makes SEC so great in my opinion.
Mhm.
I, I don't I don't know if there's a bad head coach in the SEC. You know what I mean? Now, I think there's one or two that I'm not crazy about just from the
Yeah.
antics, right? Beamer
Mhm.
being one of them. But I mean, his look where he comes from. That's not a bad coaching tree. You know what
No.
I mean? Like, so like I don't, and that's another like these guys are coaching, man. Like, eh, even if the talent isn't like you said, Texas is superior to
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm
At the
telling you
moment.
now, they play nine more times. Texas don't beat them by 30, like because man, watch out.
Bro, it was three. Oklahoma was winning after the first quarter, Kevin.
That's true. That's true. That's
Watch
true.
It was
out,
3-0.
man.
That's
If
true.
they
They
score,
played them.
Listen,
They played them
listen,
tight early.
listen. I had people. Two of they talking about put Arch back in, man. People bought they hitting the panic button.
Yeah, they were.
You know what I
They
mean?
tired of
So
you. I got you. I got you.
yeah,
So
but
last question, because we all played, and I kind of want fans to understand the psyche or the mindset of players as we go through a week of practice. A lot of times you hear, I hope this team doesn't look ahead. Or if you come out and you lose a game before you have the big game, they say, oh, they must look ahead to Bama. Talk to me about the mindset of players and coaches when everybody knows who we play after Auburn, right? As a player, is that something that's like on the forefront of your mind while you prepare for Auburn?
I don't think we're in position to look past anybody. Like I don't think
Okay.
drink. I don't think drink. Here's what I like about drink. I think drink comes from kind of an underdog type of situation, right?
Hmm.
That's kind of his mindset, right?
Yeah.
Missouri hasn't done anything to overlook anybody. Like, and if they do, then they aren't as mature and they're not as veteran led as we thought they were, right?
Hmm.
mm-hmm.
So we're not. It ain't and I know Drink is preaching that,
Yeah.
right? That's what a good coach does. Like we're not we haven't done anything to overlook anybody. Like you
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like so that's kind of what that's the message as a coach that I'd be sending, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say it again. Let's see. So
It's the SEC. Spoon, what
Man,
about you?
I know one thing. We Drink better be calling them leaders into his office, man. And we need
Mm.
Julius Campbell, and we need Gary Bertier. We ain't did nothing, man. Like we, bro,
Remember Titans.
you right, man. Ain't nothing we done this year to have
Mhm.
us feel
no,
like we're superior to anyone. We got to go out and trust the process, and as we go, we'll grow. And I think we'll grab the role that we establish as we take care of business. Like
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
you beat a team that you shouldn't beat, or maybe like you're in one of those fights. And I think the Vandy fight was a great fight for the Tigers. I think they can kind of look back on that BC game, that Vandy game, those games where they had the grit and grind to get that win. And I think it's evident that we're just not in that position to be like
Hmm.
we did something. I mean, we just beat UMass. I'm gonna make sure if I beat UMass that the scout team gonna beat you at practice this week. That's my. I want the scout team to lead the field, like catching bombs on my defense, like just so
Yeah.
they know when we get to the hotel and they eating steak and green beans and hot rolls, they need to know like, hey, this ain't promised. Like we need to go ahead and make sure when we step out there on this football field that
Mm-hmm.
we come out with the effort that we need in order to put ourselves in position to do the things that we talked about in the offseason.
Man, I actually like what you just said, Spoon. You talked about drink bringing the leaders in. That's something, J Mac. I'm not sure if you stayed long enough to even witness this. You kind of left us a little,
No,
took a little
I got
early.
about I got about it. I got about it.
Golly. But
Got about
if
it.
the people who stayed long enough to play their senior year and become captains of the team, like Spoon and myself,
Mm-hmm.
that's something we did with Pinkle every week. And I remember going down to A&M before we played Oklahoma that year. Oklahoma was #1 in the country. And that was Pinkle's message, like, hey, look, it's not a secret that we have Oklahoma coming in here, and it was our homecoming, and they're coming to Mizzou. That's there. The whole city of Columbia knows it. But focus on the task at hand. That way,
Mm-hmm.
when you take care of business like we did in A&M that year, back in 2011 or 2010, or this year, we take care of Auburn. Now, nothing needs to be said when you're going down to play Alabama. It should be the easiest week, in my opinion, from a coaching standpoint, to get your team up or ready to play. The players should be doing that. So we're talking about leadership. Even though you didn't stay, you still were a leader. So
Yeah, I got you.
what
Take
does
care.
leadership need to do to get us ready for this week, knowing
Well,
that we can't look past it?
I think leadership. Go, my bad, Frank.
Oh, I was gonna
Go
chime
ahead.
in because sometimes that all that extra leadership stuff can be weird, right? Like you go have a meeting about a meeting. You're like, man, what we doing here? Like, man,
Yeah.
hold on, man. Like, let's just do what got us to Mizzou. This is a
Okay.
blessing to be in this opportunity to be at one of the top universities in the country and having
Hmm.
an opportunity to show what you can do, week in and week out. I think that's enough right there. Like, let's do what we do. When we start kind of doing too much, now I think Drink can bring in those guys that he knows, they've been around the block. These guys know, like, okay, this is what we're going to do right here to get the young
Hmm.
guys on board with what we're doing. But let's not try to, reinvent the wheel. Let's
Okay.
just put the work in and then we can trust that work. Like I know Joel Embiid, I don't even want to speak on that school he went to, but
Yeah.
that
Please
he
don't.
he always say trust the process. But
Hmm.
I think that's something that kind of sounds monotonous, but I think Drink can kind of hang his hat on that. Like when we didn't prepare a certain way, we looked a certain way. We
Hmm.
prepared against Massachusetts, and granted, it's Massachusetts. We prepared and we went out and did what we were supposed to do. And so if
Hmm.
we continue to just kind of just stay that path, I think this week will be a promising week for the Tigers. And then moving forward, we just take care of what we need to take care of.
Hey, man, what do you think about leadership?
Well, here's the deal. I think everything that we want to achieve before the season is still achievable. I think you go
You have
back to
been
the
saying
goals.
that.
You go back to the goals, right? Like, hey, fellas, if we drop another one, probably ain't happening. Ah.
Yeah.
So that's all the motivation you
Yeah,
need. We drop
that's
another one, it
solid.
ain't happening.
That's true.
So if you drop this one, Tuscaloosa, yeah, it might, but like what we're trying to accomplish probably doesn't happen because this is still a team, in my personal opinion. The rest of the country may have forgotten about what the expectations are in Columbia, Missouri.
Hmm.
I don't think the people in Columbia, Missouri has forgotten about it.
Okay.
So, man, let's get back to the basics, man. Get back to the fundamentals, right? Get back to pitching and catching, right?
Hmm.
Tackling, blocking, angles, right? Pad level, right? And play
Yeah.
Missouri football, man. We're gonna be all right.
Yes, Lord.
All right, man. Hey, you know what, J Mac? If anybody loses faith, I'm gonna just send them your way, man. Just go talk to J
Send
Mac.
them
He'll
my way,
he'll
man.
inspire you,
Yeah,
man.
back and get them right.
Everything that you want is still out there in front of you. What other possible motivations do you need?
You don't need
That's a
nothing.
good point. It's a great
Right?
point.
Like, I don't need to say, well, I don't care if it's homecoming. No, we are playing the University of Auburn, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
And guess what? We're in our playoffs started. Our playoffs start this week. It's a must win
True.
for us,
It is
right?
must win.
Hey,
So yeah,
anybody got the rankings and stuff? I didn't see
Yeah.
the rankings.
19, I think,
And
right?
what we at? What we looking like?
I believe we are. Sorry,
I think 19.
is it 19? We are 19. Auburn's unranked. So we went from 21 to 19. There was some movement in the other areas. We didn't. I mean, we played UMass, so I think it's to be expected. I think another win will get us down, maybe top 15, which should set up for primetime football in Tuscaloosa. Let me not look ahead. You know what I mean? But
You can look. You
Hey,
can look.
can I? Can I? Okay.
yeah. I got a question before.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch Oregon and Ohio
I'll
State?
say.
I
Yeah.
did.
Okay. Did you guys watch Texas, Oklahoma?
Yes.
Okay.
First half.
Okay. Do y'all feel and here's what's so crazy is the best we've looked in you guys' eyes this year. Can we play with those three teams?
Kind of person asking
Dang,
me that question.
that's tough. That's tough,
In
Jeremy.
your opinion, the best that we've looked in your eyes this year, can we play with those three teams?
I think we can. I think, and,
Yeah.
and the reason why I say that is because it's a complementary style of football. It's not
Hmm.
we're gonna go out and throw it 60 times type football. If like our teams, we could go out and throw. Yeah, we could run it, but I mean, I felt more comfortable when Chase Daniel was dropping back, throwing to all of his weapons. Right. I
Hmm.
don't
Yeah.
necessarily feel that way about this Missouri team, this Missouri regime. I feel best when we're running the football. When you're running the football, you're shortening the clock, you're cutting down the possessions, and teams that may have a little bit more spunk than you can get them into one of those type of games to where it's like a Sunday game, Mac. Like you said, the
Hmm.
NFL and the SEC is basically the NFL. It's the little, a
Yeah.
lower level, but it's that style of play where you can win the game with a field goal. I saw so many overtime games in the SEC that I've been watching, and so many close games. Missouri can win those type of games, but when I look at Oregon, I look at Ohio State, also Texas. Yes, I think
Hmm.
Missouri is right there. The type of athletes we have, we pay our athletes too, just like them.
Yeah.
I think we can handle that. You know what I'm saying? But it's very imperative to be in front of the sticks and
Hmm.
also to have confidence. And so we'll see those teams later. But let's
Yeah.
go ahead and take care of the groundwork to where we can get that thing rolling. Next thing you know, we going downhill, baby.
Mac, I'm gonna say yes too. I think we do have the potential. I'm gonna throw a caveat in. I'm not sure if I have seen a week this year that I feel comfortable, but I'm basing off of what we did last year and some bright spots in multiple
Mhm.
games. I think so. I don't know if I'm not sure right now if we do anything well enough to say, okay, I hang my hat on the run game. Like last year, we can hang our hat and know Schrader's gonna do something. We're gonna run the ball well. Or even last year with Luther's gonna do I don't know if I have that confidence in the team right now, based on like saying 1 week we did this. But if you take all 6 games, yes, I think we should be on the field with those 3 teams you just named. Because
We
I
have
don't
enough.
we haven't that's what I'm trying to say. We have enough, and I think we've shown enough bright spots in different areas to say, yeah, we can put it together, like Spoon said, play complementary ball, and then we should definitely be on the field with any of those 3 teams you just named. Those are
Oh,
the top 3 teams in the league right now.
I think
one
I
more
think
thing.
those I think those are the top. I think those three are the top three right now.
They
Clearly, you
are, yeah.
can't rule out Georgia. Penn State still
Yeah,
undefeated, but I think those are the top three.
I
One
agree.
thing that stood out to me last week. I didn't watch the game, but I did check the stat line.
Hmm.
The kid from Kansas City, our number one recruit, he
Got
registered
a
his
sack.
first. He registered
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, got a
his
sack.
first
Yep.
sack at Missouri, man.
You've
He
been
was, he
looking for
was
him,
he was
Spoon.
just asking about him.
Yeah,
Got a
hey,
sack. Yep.
it was right on time, man. And
Yeah,
like
it was.
those the type of players, like, hey, put him in the game, coach. Like, just
Put him in the
see what
game.
happened. You know what I'm saying? All these other
Hmm.
schools was courting. Shoot,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We got it.
and I don't want to get too deep in this, but let's be honest, man. In today's game, you got to keep kids happy. You got to keep kids happy. I don't want. All right, it was fun because if every team that was courting me when I was in high school, they're still waiting on me because now they're going off of what I did in high school still because they haven't seen me be successful or unsuccessful in college ball. So if
Hmm.
if he had the Bamas and the Texases and Oklahomas coming at him in high school, they're still waiting, and
They
they're
in them
probably
DMs.
somebody's reaching out saying, "Hey, you're not getting no playing time." So I think I agree with you, Spoon. Like this is the day and age where you lose a guy if he's
New
not
age, new
happy.
age, new age
New
college
age,
It's,
ball, man.
like you
it's
said, man.
wild, bro.
So I think Mac, I'm gonna thank you for instilling some more confidence in me.
I
I
got you.
was
I
ready.
got you.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I
I
got you.
was reaching. I don't think I pressed it. I'm not gonna lie, I pressed it. I pressed it. I pressed
Okay.
the panic button. I pressed it hard, maybe with 2 hands. I can't. I was nervous, but after
Two
seeing
hands.
us after seeing us bounce back, bouncing back means a lot to me because it's hard. It's hard to bounce back. It's a long season, and I know sometimes that outside noise can creep into a program. You lose a game, in the fashion that we did. So I appreciate you, man. Spoon, I appreciate you for staying consistent too. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think,
man. I want to give a shout out to Maclin with that big ass tiger head. I ain't never seen a
yeah,
tiger head that big. But I tell
with
you
the whole
what, that's
shirt.
how I know my dog rocking. And I know he
Yeah.
know what he's talking about because he done lived it. He's done it,
Mhm.
man. Mac, I always look up to you, man, and respect your,
My guy,
your
my
mindset on
guy.
the game, Kevin.
Yeah.
Nobody communicates it like you, brother. Like you guys
Appreciate
are
you.
special. I enjoy this
My
every week,
dogs.
man, and I can't wait to see y'all boys, man. Bring your golf clubs, cause Spoon
No,
Jones ain't messing
Yes.
around.
Look, look.
I'm not bringing my golf clubs,
You don't
man.
have to. Mine are coming, so it's okay.
Okay. All
Uh,
right.
Look, man, it's been a great show. Everybody watching right now, and everybody who does watch when it goes on YouTube, look for us in Columbia this weekend,
Mm,
Friday night. We're
that's
looking to
something.
put on the show, man. Have a great time, and then come on out to the game Saturday, man. Enjoy homecoming. We got one of the best homecomings in the land. So if you've never been to a Missouri Tiger football game or even our homecoming, come out and see what we got going on, man. It's gonna be an
Hey,
awesome weekend. Yeah.
Kevin, who gonna be with us? I mean, we ain't got to say the name. We can do a little teaser or something.
So we do have a special guest who will be in Columbia with us on set with us Saturday. I wish I could throw some hints out there. He was a former first round pick,
He got a lot of sacks.
got a lot of sacks.
Yeah.
Actually, and I found this out talking to him. He only played like 16 or 17 games at Mizzou,
Yeah, that's it.
which is special in itself. I think so. And still did wonders. So looking forward to have an awesome show with a special guest, man. Please come out. Please keep supporting us, man. It's been great. Uh, Fellas, you guys have a good night. All our fans, thank you for tuning in.
Appreciate y'all.
And we'll see you guys Friday.